Cheers.
There you go. Well, I guess, as we have no idea what this is called, we don't know what we're doing, but as projectors, that's kind of how we roll, right?
Perfect.
It's we turn up as we do, and anyone that's watching now. One of the things I was thinking before you turned up was, and I always listen to what's kind of just flowing through, was kind of like acknowledgements of the tribe that we're in. I was like, wow, what a tribe.
I mean, yeah, it's helped to bring us together as well, right? Like and that's one thing I noticed when I moved down to Christchurch, was just all of a sudden there's such a powerful tribe of individuals here doing amazing things, and having lived so many different places, that really struck a chord with me, noticing how amazing people are down here.
Wow.
I mean, I guess it's a manifestation, or not that I like to use that word, but it's like
There must have been some. It was what you were searching for as well, right? I mean, you're a projector, so you're really one-on-one. So you've been traveling the world, one-on-one, wanting people, doing the groups as well. But where you come into your depth and your ability to recognise this and that and the other thing is the one-to-one. And but of course we find that one-to-one within the tribe. And I was just taken back to Aroha Essence Festival, which is like the last couple of years have been pretty epic. Been really cool for me. It's just that coming together of those very foundational healers that are all spread around Christchurch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so cool, to see breath work. I look over at my altar and I have a lot of ruas.
Tonga portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of instruments. Yeah.
It's like these pieces of. I have someone else's balm on there as well. Like I can look at my altar and all these kind of little reminders of these other healers that are, and of course here we are drinking cacao, cheers,
yeah, cheers.
And doing this sort of podcasty thing, and the wonderful Libby made us some cacao,
which is also manufactured here in Christchurch
by our friends, the Cacao ambassador. Here's the thing: we're not getting paid for any plugs here, but isn't that refreshing when you can plug people that matter to you? They have meaning in your life, and they bring a nuance of magic that without them you wouldn't quite, like for me, so quickly getting into human design, and now it's like my main source of income also, so it truly is a vocation for me. It's not a job, it's what I'm completely embedded in, and the Cacao ambassador giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, that was game changing for everyone there, is to understand how they could show up and what each person offered, and where their strengths and weaknesses were, and what needed to be said to that person in order for them to have the invitation, or to be seen in a certain way, or to be offered the invitation to speak in maybe the way that they weren't able to unless someone was asked them a certain question in a certain way,
and was aware of that's how they function.
Yeah.
Like, some people come across with an energy that's quite I remember doing the reading with certain people in that team, that you can just see as got the line of the general, that talks the energy itself, just that keyword, the keynote, and she's like that. She needs everything to be, correct. She's a projector, and she's in the primo position within the penta, and being even able to look at the mechanics of the penta, that it's good for you to be amongst a group, but not for too long. I mean, what a thing to be, just that alone, when it comes to business or family or interaction, that can be helpful, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that was made my life make so much sense. And even just as we were talking today about, the previous lives of a tradie, and, how much we were just blowing ourselves to pieces, but there was always the joy in seeing the finished product, and all of a sudden that sort of stuff makes a whole lot more sense.
It does, and thank God it did, because at the time that we're projectors, we're not meant to grind, right? But how hard did you work?
Oh yeah.
Because you're riding on everyone else's, there's bound to be generators there, you'll be riding on their sacral energy, but you get home and then what happens?
Yeah, chest infections.
Chest infections.
So sick all the time. It was a running joke in my family that I was always had sick on my birthday, but I was always sick all the time. But yeah.
See, this is why I have such a heart for projectors. When you begin to understand that we are designed to be conditioned, I mean, think about that. Everyone gets conditioned. Everyone. We're designed to be conditioned.
I had an example of that yesterday. We went to have coffee with someone just to catch up with them, and I was just left in the worst mood.
Oh.
And I think what happened as soon as I gave that person like a hug to say goodbye to them, and it took me until like the afternoon where I was like, hold on a minute, I had to like properly clear my energy. Be like, oh, actually, no, I feel great. That was just me being conditioned by someone else's stuff.
And man, that's why, as I say, having a heart for projectors, knowing this knowledge comes at you in a very different way than it does for a generator or a different type. It's like for projectors, it's like a relief. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm not like everyone else. That first one, I'm not like all of that high vital life force pranic energy. And we also live on that, but it comes on, it goes away, it comes on, it goes away. It's just not consistent for us. It's not that we can't do the grind, we can.
But it's so confusing for us though, is because we think that sometimes we have it, so why can't we have it all the time?
Oh, and the main reason why we think we have it, you know, watching my stepson when he's around other generators, I mean, he just squeals, because he's riding on all the children's excited energy. So he's the most excited in the group. But take him out of that, and he's actually, you see him with his mother, he's very mellow.
Yeah.
But then she can also hype him up too. Me and him went out for the day. 2 projectors. He's a 6'3" as well. So trial and error. Let's just go and see what happens. 6'3" projectors. And we had a great day. And but wow, so different. Well, just like with you and me hanging out. There's no sacral motor there.
Yeah.
And you notice it, right? What do you notice about you when you're not around a sacral motor?
I can really drop in and actually get things done in a different way.
Yes.
I think because I'm not being not manipulated is the wrong word, but like don't have someone else's energy that's kind of a little bit altering my own energy.
Yes.
I can really, you know, drop in if it's like writing a blog post or creating some content or building my website, that sort of stuff I can really sink into and get it done. But also, yeah, the backside of that is that often I'll just like fall asleep.
We sleep, we rest.
Yeah.
And but isn't it, I think what you've brought up there, what I'm noticing, or noticed that I've always been like, is you can't sleep in front of generators.
No. Yeah, Libby's like, oh, just come and have a rest. We'll just have a sleep in the afternoon. I was like, I'm just going to lie there buzzing away. And she'll be having this beautiful rest.
Well, you know, because you also bring your energy of the non-sacral, which can be really, it does almost the opposite. You know, it's not like we don't. My brother, I was reading his design to him a little bit, and he laughed because he was just like, almost like a realisation that he thought I was literally siphoning his vital life force energy. He's like, yeah, I don't feel good, man. Like, whoa, you've been doing that to me my whole life, have you? But it was funny we don't siphon, but we bring an energy that's penetrating, and so it can actually begin to slow the generator down.
Great for them.
It's great for them. Oh my gosh, like telling a generator to slow down, like. You've got to be invited. Yeah. What do you think I should do? It would be first thing for all generators for me would be just slow down a little bit. Yeah. Have a rest. I'll share how it's done.
But not when we're in the same room because we can't do that together.
We can't do that. It's so interesting in human design, you know, I'm not formally trained, and so I'll bring it to people how I bring it, as you bring it to people, how you bring it. And that's the key, is that it's not as if it's anything you have to go deep into. It's just very helpful foundational knowledge, which you love because you're a 1-3 profile. And so it's like, oh, here's something foundational that's really solid that I've tested. 1-3 profile all through.
And yeah, for it's become a bit of a running joke now with every client and almost every person I meet. It's like, oh, what's your human design?
Yeah.
Just so I can know how to interact with them, or you know, if anything arises, I'm like, oh, okay, that's because of, you know,
And
you're a
doesn't it?
manifesting generator, and that's why you feel like you have ADHD, because there's lots of things that you want to do all the time.
Perfect. Yeah. Who would you say are the most challenging to coach, type-wise? Or even if you're, it may be a little bit early, but to know until you gather enough data of throwing that at people and doing breathwork sessions and that. But
I'd say I haven't dealt with too many manifestors, but I'd say the generators are really challenging because they still feel like they can change themselves in order to avoid being generators.
And what do you feel it is they're trying to change about themselves generally?
They still want to become manifestors.
Manifestors, yeah.
Yeah, they still want to be able to create things and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that you tend to hear saying a lot, I'm manifesting this and I'm manifesting that, and they love the manifestation courses.
Well, I think that's because that's what we've been sold, right? In popular culture, especially in the spiritual society, it all comes down to manifestation, especially manifestation of abundance or a partner or. Yeah, but I don't think that's how it works.
At a time, it seems, according to the knowledge, that there was a time for that, where it was, you know, we manifested, and I guess that's why, as far as when we look at variables, which is how you take information in and what you do with it, and also how you integrate information. Manifestors, well, prior to 1781, according to knowledge, is that everyone was strategic. They were all left. We were all just left orientated. So it's strategic and active, and so you are manifesting. Yeah, because you're making it happen. We've moved away from that, and the manifestors are now not running the show. And it's interesting, because I have 2 manifestors coming in today, and they have a particularly difficult life because they tend to be raised as generators, which is ironic. All the generators want to be manifestors, but all the manifestors get raised as generators, so no one's initiating correctly. Hence why we have the world that's got all the slight issues that are going on. Bro, how's the energy at the moment? Oh,
I know, yeah, it's the lack of sleep for weeks now is challenging, and the headaches for the last few days as well.
Headaches for you?
Yeah, like I said the other day, I wrote that blog post on the Human resonance because everyone was talking about it. No one really knows what it means, I don't think.
No.
Especially in the spiritual community, it's like, screen grabbing or whatever's happening in the chart and placing some idea of what might be happening. So it was really nice just to actually dive into what it actually means, essentially, and you know, the heartbeat of the earth and fluctuations and solar flares and how that can impact the resonance of the earth, and how, because we're the same resonance when we're in its alpha state, how that we can be thrown by that, because obviously our generator motor, I guess, is kind of a way of looking at it, is being manipulated due to solar flares.
Yes, true. Yeah. And so your own diving into the Human resonance, what do you feel at the moment, like people, what's the tools at the moment? Because like last night, as you were like 2-3 o'clock, was it? 3 o'clock, but then there was a Wi-Fi thing going on with that. And as I said to you, well, you're 3 parts right, man, you're soaking that up. What's a tool for people at the moment?
I mean, the basics is obviously hydration, drinking plenty of water. So it's like when it comes to coaching, I find that's the first thing, and usually the thing that no one ever does is hydrate. Like, wake up in the morning, don't have a cup of coffee, just have a glass of water. Yeah. Drop a little bit of salt in there. Yeah. You'll be away laughing. Yeah. That, I mean, breathwork is always just going to be an amazing practice. If you can really focus on those slow, deep inhales and exhales, and really extending the exhales. Yes.
And you feel like while like you're feeling a pulse of that kind of Schumann energy or whatever else may be going on.
Yeah, just trying your best to regulate yourself as much as you can, because obviously it's an external impact, but we can definitely not allow it to throw ourselves to the same extent.
Definitely different from the old days, a cup of tea and a scone, a drink of water and a breath.
Exactly.
How about not eat anything just yet?
Yeah.
Because then that's one of the things actually I have found. I was watching myself going for food.
It's such a common self-soothing technique, just
Yeah.
to try to eat away that discomfort. And you're finishing, you're like, oh, I still feel the same.
Yeah, I know. I know. You get, maybe it's that dopamine that you get at the start, and a little bit of serotonin, that satisfaction. It's but it feels, in March apparently it's got a lot going on, a lot coming up. We've got
all the planets in alignment.
Yeah.
Venus is in retrograde, so if you feel like you're having troubles with your partner, just don't do anything about it right now, unless it's obviously there's certain examples of when you should. But
great advice.
Yeah.
so right now, go to your corners a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your best to do your own practices, work on yourself, and I think it's 40 days of Venus in retrograde. Then, yeah.
Okay. Well, 40 days is quite a significant number too. When we look at,
there's going to be some tensions created, and
planets aligning, solar flares, Schumann resonance, 2027 shift coming up that's been in the play for the last 260 years, and the background frequency 400 years, a change in the background frequency. And I was thinking about projectors, because of course here we are, the point we got together is like, here's a couple of projectors, let's have a yarn and see what comes of it, and people might recognise there's some depth to be shared. I was thinking about the purpose of the projector, and with the background frequency going from the age of planning, where it's everyone puts their piece in, and we have a sort of central hub that administers that back out into the collective. We've gone from tribal, which was sort of going back previous 400 years ago, the seven-centered being very strategic and needing to because of survival, but then the shift taking place from there, moving into the age of planning, which is like, well, let's all just put our stuff in the same kite, and then we'll have these guys distribute it. That's falling away. And that background frequency will be gone as of February 2027. Of course, the changes will be gradual as to what they're going to become. But we're already feeling the acceleration of the end of this age. Like, when you get to the end of something, I always call it like you look at drips from a faucet. It builds, and then it's got that critical mass, and it drops. And we're feeling that last point of the drop, like the hanging on.
Yeah, this last 12 months, and now it's just, it was like that force, and then it's like now it's getting squeezed through the eye of a needle.
Oh,
the tension is very palpable. At the moment.
And that's the point I want to make. It's like, it's not just, for me, human design's giving me a lot of information that is helpful for this time. But as we were saying before, like this month we have 40 days and planet alignments and solar flares and the placements of the planets having obviously the medicine we need right now, because it's shaky, right? Well, what do you feel is being brought to the top for everyone?
Surrender is the biggest thing, I'd say.
Right.
Trying to control everything and realising that we can't control anything at all.
I love that. Good.
I think that's why I find the whole idea of manifestation so interesting, because it's still a level of trying to control a situation. Whereas I think when we accept we have a role to play and we continue to play our role as best we can, the result is always going to be success. And so just keep doing what we need to do, and eventually things will fall into place. And it's not, you can call it manifestation, call it whatever you want, but unless you're a manifestor.
It's actually not manifestation.
It's not manifestation. It's just doing the thing that needed to be done.
How do you feel we're going to do life? Kind of getting into my point why I brought this up. How, with these centralized systems crumbling, that's what we're seeing. Centralization, crumbling, globalization, crumbling, and then we can get this false idea that we're going back to tribal. But I don't think we're going tribal. How are we going to have an administration? I've already got an answer for this.
I was going to say, I bet it's built on human design. And it'll be
Yeah.
going to have reflectors at the top somewhere, guiding, but also just doing their own thing.
Well, I think there was a beautiful correction there where you said reflectors, they're guiding, but they're not here to guide. The projectors came through in 1781, so we're the newest type on the planet. Well, why do we need this new type? And as we're approaching the end of that 260-year cycle of Pluto coming back, where there's this starting and this completion, projectors came about then. So what would you say? That was the birth of the projector. So what would the end of this age be?
I guess the mature, what that word is I'm looking for?
The maturation of the projector.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that, and it's a 6-line background frequency, which is role modeling. And so it's like, well, how are we going to run this earth without a government? Don't worry. 20% of the population is going to take care of that. They're called projectors. And they're going to take care of it with you as an individual, so that you're coming from your own personal strategy and authority, because you're not relying on the government anymore.
Which I guess is something both of us kind of preach now, right? Which is just to focus on the self instead of the collective, because you can't change the collective, but you can change yourself.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we see the thing about the hive mind, and that YouTube that you sent to me, Joe Rogan with the CIA?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Mind manipulation,
Yep.
MK Ultra, everything to do with mind manipulation, hypnosis, all of that, suggestions, and what we see is what he's talking about is really how easy it is to control the masses. It's very difficult to control an individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm excited about, I'm a projector, we're projectors. I mean, I'm seeing systems fall apart. This is a system like in the Matrix where some very well attached to it. They don't want that shit going down. We are here for this time as projectors. So I would think that a lot of projectors deep down would feel quite a satisfaction or a success that this is falling.
Yeah, finding the opportunity to direct people back to their truest essence, as opposed to the collective mass manipulation of what we think we should achieve. The wife, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, all that.
The American dream.
Yeah.
Which has been, again, what is that? It's homogenization. Like, again, listening to that guy talking to Joe Rogan, what he was talking about was really the problem with homogenization is how easily it is administered. Like, effectively for me, I know that it's not so much that I'm returning back to myself as much as I'm deconditioning myself from living life that was homogenized. So hard.
Yeah.
With your skill set, because of course what projectors are here to do is to build a skill set, and then therefore it's like, I wonder if it's going to get to that point, right? And people go into like a yellow pages, a projector yellow pages.
Human design yellow pages.
Yeah. As far as it seems to me that we're going to become the world's administrators. Yeah, and what's your views on that? I mean, I'm just sorry. That's what I was just as I look at it. I think
I didn't take the invitation a few days ago and commented on someone's Instagram post about the idea that projectors are here to guide. But unfortunately, unless that, it comes down. It's the same with everything, right? If that person hasn't done the work themselves, and I guess in the projector's example, work through why it is they're bitter and not being their human, they're living by their design.
Yeah.
And following success and avoiding that bitterness that projectors can feel, and it can be wrathful. Then that's the challenge, I think, is making sure that the projectors that are guiding are the ones who are living by their design and not just because they're projectors.
Exactly. That's there are some projectors. I always find when I do a reading that people are at a certain level of not self or true self, living by their highest frequency signature, which is for us is success, and that's really the measurement. If you know someone is a projector, you just need to ask them and say, do you feel successful? And if it's a no, then so let's have a look at this bitterness. You can go straight for it. If there's no feeling of success there, bitterness is there.
Yeah.
It's just the default. And so for us, it's not just about human design, but as you say, that foundational thing, when you have a new client, just that alone, if you have a projector, that one question is covering so much.
I was watching some course on coaching a few days ago, and he had these like 5 questions that are used to essentially get to the same thing you can ask someone by asking what their human design is. It's like, when you feel your best, or when you get to this point, what do you feel? Oh, successful. Oh, you feel satisfied. Oh, okay, so I could have just asked you what your human design was, and we could have just been done with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good way of finding out. Yeah, because I guess I kind of ask people questions sometimes if I don't have access to be able to check someone's data and find out what their design is. I kind of will ask questions like that. But then it's the nuances that make the big difference. As we know, we have a good friend Jeff that, he's a projector, but he can grind, man, but it's in his design. Yeah. He's got the line of burnout. Someone that pushes to the point of burnout but never reaches it, as the line says. I mean, there you go. So he would end up to the world looking like a generator.
Yeah.
But he's not. So it goes to show that also it's not that projectors cannot be productive physically. They can. That depends on the nuances within, which is the body graph side of it. The type, that's the thing which is great. You can look just at type and help someone so much. Just type, as you say. Then if you want to go deeper, what I love about this tool is that you can really take someone on a journey of self-discovery in the right direction. Instead of going, we'll just do this manifesting course, to all these generators, they'll go, I want to lap that shit up because they want to manifest. Now you're feeding their not self if you're not aware. That's what I mean by this age that we're going into, where there's not going to be that support of the background frequency that everyone's taking care of.
Yeah, right.
You have to be able to take care of yourself, but you're only going to be able to do it as yourself.
Yeah, in your design.
According to your design, and that's also the genetic imperative. The human design is simply human genetics according to the cosmological placement in time and space. Fucking great calculation, I love that. Because it really lines up with the Hermetic principles of as above, so below.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, well, I chose the name Saddhanta because it means principles for me. And what I love about human design is you don't have to get into human design. It's great for us as coaches. Magnificent for us as projectors because we're going to study that shit. And that's what we're here for. And I think I feel there's a real preparation. Even I've sort of mentioned to you, maybe some sort of Facebook group where you get projectors together and just get a real. That's another experiment. When we understand these things, we can say, let's experiment with this. What would it be like to have just projectors in a room? What's it like for just generators to be together and not have someone pointing out everything that's wrong with the group? Not that we're that bad, right? Because we can really point out what's great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess it depends on how not self we are. What would you say is probably the toughest not self challenge per type?
I mean, it's got to be reflective. I think that's anger, isn't it? Just
reflective disappointment, which is like, we know as a kid, you'd rather your parents be like angry at you than disappointed. when they say I'm disappointed in you. Like, it hurts. And maybe that's why the reflector interaction is so painful, because there's this energy of disappointment coming across. If they're not self, they'll be breathing out the energy of disappointment, and people might feel that. Yeah. What do you think the not self challenge for the manifester? I mean, theirs is anger. How do manifestors not be angry? They're here to initiate, but there's not support in this world to allow people that are really meant to initiate.
Well, I suppose especially if they're not aware as well. Like, once they're aware, I think there's definitely a level of... Yeah, it's got to be challenging, like initiating and then not being able to do anything once it's been initiated.
Oh yeah.
Just leaving it to a generator to hopefully pick up and carry on with. And
that would happen in the mechanically correct world, or it be mechanically correct, and the generators that would be picking up that role of their impact would be doing it out of satisfaction too. It wouldn't just be, they're not slaves.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think it's really important for generators to understand, that without generators we don't have what's going on. So all that they do such an amazing job at the doing, at the active application of building, that we can just look at the world and there's lots of holes. Yeah, and it's not their fault. We're all following suits. Again, it's the homogenization that's the problem.
Yeah, the lack of integration of the rest of the systems.
And lack of satisfaction for the generator, personally.
That's a massive one, hey. There's not that many generators that are very satisfied.
No.
Or even know what it means to be satisfied.
So what's our job as a projector?
Find out, I guess.
Our job is to make sure these generators are satisfied. Because also we feed on their, I'm not trying to sound like vampires, but we live off their generator energy. Yeah. And so if they're satisfied, what are we going to be?
Feeling great.
Yeah. And so that's really our work.
Yeah.
Ensuring that, not ensuring that generators are doing the right thing, ensuring that they are satisfied. And if they're satisfied, then they are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They are being correct in themselves. We both have generator partners. Yeah. Your view on the being a projector with a generator.
Yeah, I think it's just in gentle ways constantly reminding you just to come back to that satisfaction, not feeling like she has to do everything all the time. Because I'll see her like constantly just creating content and building these things, but it's and it's beautiful stuff, but often it just doesn't land because it's not done from a place of where she's feeling satisfied.
Yeah. And that's the key. I say to people all the time, they're like, so what do I do while I'm waiting to respond? Which is not a big deal, because if someone drops their keys, you can pick it up for them. That's responding. Like, you can respond to anything. Do whatever makes you feel satisfied. For us, it's going to go have a sleep. Go have a sleep. I mean, like, I've seen that, I can't remember her name now, she's a hypnotherapist, manifester, human design hypnotherapist, and her Instagram video on my life as a projector was all about the positives. They hadn't really seen that before, and it put such a nice slant on it. And I actually put it to work. I tried it out. Yeah, I just had sleep, so I went to sleep, and sure enough, I was waking up to invitations on my phone, and just like she did, I put my phone down and walked away because I'm not here to respond. If they're not like an invitation that turns on my spleen, I don't respond straight away. And then when I come back to it, I'm not responding. I'm actually, and it's not an initiation either. I guess I'm being courteous at that point. But still waiting for the invitation. That's the key. When people reach out to me and, hey, can you help me with this? And it's like, yeah. And my spleen will just be like that. I won't need to think about it. For you, you're an emotional type.
Yeah, it's great fun. We've been both emotional types. So when things are, when we're trying to make decisions, things can be not that fun to be around. As we're riding the emotional waves of frustration or disappointment or whatever it may be. All the elation side of it as well, I guess.
Yes.
But then I guess when it comes back to back to when it comes to waiting for the invitation for the projector, the way I see it is to create invitations during that time as well. So so that's why I spend time working on my booth site, and when I feel inspired to, I'll create content on social media or whatever, just so people know that what I do, because people can't offer invitations to something they don't know exists. So it's like a delicate balance that I'm trying to find with it.
Good.
Yeah.
But you... Because what is success for you? Because I was just going to say, when we do those tasks of those things that are building our tools and our skill set.
Oh yeah, I feel super successful when I'm like, oh, my website looks great now.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me feel successful.
Yeah.
Or when I write a blog post or whatever it is, I'm like, oh, I feel success in creating that.
And so for us, that's where I guess people can look at the signature of the projector and think, oh, yours is a success. Like, so that straight away, what do we think mean it's success?
We need money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we cream it with money as projectors?
Some do, but I'd say it's few and far between.
Yeah, and often I find it's in the nuance of their design. They're kind of built to make money.
Yeah.
We as projectors on the whole are built for success, and what that means is that feeling you got when you do your website. What else is success for you?
I think just coming back to that previous point which I made before, which is that through doing 10 years of something in the same vein that brings us success, whether maybe it's building a business, that does manifest the money.
It does.
But it's not manifestation, it's just because we've been doing it for so long that we're really good at it, and people recognise that we're good at it and offer us invitations, and we are given financial remuneration for that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're here. I heard someone say that projectors are here to be contracted. I really like that. Yeah, no, I mean, you sounded like a generator. Generator.
I'm just because contracting means that I don't have to be stuck to someone's systems. I can do whatever I want to do.
Time schedules and that's the key when you don't have a sacral, is you don't know when your energy is going to be on and when it's off, because when it's off, it's off.
Yeah.
And then if you're stuck in a 9 to 5, you're going to have to push, and that's when it gets unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as it does for anyone when you're having to push, because if the generator's unsatisfied or the manifestor's angry, we don't know where the reflector is, but it's they're there somewhere. Just they're not going to want a piece of it, but they once they're taken out of their signature, now you have a not self, so you can't even really say manifestor, generator, projector, or anything. They're just not self. It's like there's only really 4 type of aura in a world that's correct. Otherwise it's just homogenization. Yeah. And that's not correct, because we are specifically here to differentiate. I'm feeling, because we went through a good number of years sort of around the COVID time, where it was like, and previous to that there was kind of like the grind mode and making it happen, and manifestation was big. Everyone's buying the manifestation courses during that time. So coming out of that, like, I'm feeling a difference. I'm interested to notice what you're feeling about how people are turning up now in socials and all that sort of thing.
It's a great question.
I guess I'm noticing how I'm turning up.
I think people are being a lot more integral and true. But it's always just like the collective of who you're surrounding yourself with. So it's as above, so below. Again, it's like, the more we show up more authentically, the more we notice other people doing the same, and the more that people aren't, they kind of get pushed out of that ecosystem. Yeah. But I think, personally, I'm seeing more creativity. So people not just producing the same thing over and over again, which was a massive thing. Everyone would just be making the same memes and
cut and paste.
Yeah, cut and pasting and whatnot. See more of that, and we see more authenticity as well. And
because all we were doing then when we were cut and pasting and sending out propaganda is just helping the homogenization machine, right? If you want to earn millions like me, the word "like me" is not good. That phrase, I should say. You should do it like me. Oh, that's disgusting, isn't it? Now, how does that make you feel? Because we as projectors, really, we're best as well when we ask good questions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's the kind of the loophole of invitations. We can just ask questions.
yes.
Especially having the right angle of tension.
Yeah.
Can ask those questions that can really stop people in their tracks and reevaluate things.
I guess maybe that's why I enjoy conversing with you, because you now that you mention it, I'm quite aware of it now. It's not a tension straight away. The word tension thinks you're causing a fight. No, it's like you're wringing out the flannel. It's like you kind of bring it to the top out of people unconsciously.
I've noticed that even when I'm co-facilitating with someone who's not familiar with being around me, because I can just sit in silence and not say anything.
Yes.
And I'm sweet with that. Like, even if there's a crowd of people watching me, I'm not bothered by it.
That's
like,
the
that
tension
person
of tensions.
will be like, I need to fill in that space,
Yeah.
But now I understand, having that cross. Okay, that's just building attention in the space because there's, I guess not responding in a way that people expect me to do, or even just having time to really sit with what has been said.
Because that really, in this world, silence is a huge tension. Like, I don't think you could find anything that would create more tension than silence in this world.
Yeah, imagine a podcast where we just sat and
oh, see, you're loving it. You're almost there. Maybe we'll do that for the next one, eh? What do you think? You'd be all good. I'd be losing my shit.
Yeah.
But your beautiful cross of tension, that's to see that and understand it's actually your purpose. But then what you're realising is it's actually always been there.
You just didn't have a name for it.
No. I notice as well as I do readings for people that the older people are, the more they are aligned with their design. Yeah, a way high percentage. Young people, the younger, the more not self.
Yeah.
Because they've been raised by not self parents.
Still in the system.
Yeah, and so they become very not self through their development. So, what's your? It's a beautiful Monday. We're line 2 day today.
What does that entail?
Well, line 2 is the hermit. So, it's this is perfect. We've set up inside.
Cave,
just keeping it in the cave. It's just nice and who knows, tomorrow or the next time it could be a third line day. We might be at the beach or in the market. But it's like that energy for today is really stay in your own lane. That's what I say for the second line day.
Yeah.
It's a really good. Your first line days are great to investigate. Again, you're going to be doing. It's like getting your shopping list together. Second line day, kind of integrating that and actually doing some practical working on those bits and pieces. Just you. Third line day, you're ready to go out and start trial and error with that. Fourth, you're going to start looking to your fourth line day. You want to be looking at your network. Those that are close around. Who can kind of help with this thing. You can see how, like, if you followed a hexagram week,
totally.
It's an experiment. And then fifth line day is universalization, and so now you're thinking more collectively. And then sixth line day is, of course, it's the role model. There's not really anything to do. You've embodied it. If you've done everything correctly, the sixth line really brings the energy almost of an aloofness. There it is. Okay, that was that. This is this, and we move on to the next one. So, I guess this is our. Do you think we went on a podcast?
Yeah, it was a great time. So I think we need some water.
Yes.
But yeah, speaking of water, back to our first point of the podcast: drink plenty of water.
Yeah.
This was great fun.
Yeah, it's
enjoyed
good.
it. Yeah.
Any predictions for the week?
I think it'll be quite slow, I think. Slow, but that doesn't mean without challenges.
Nice. I get it more sort of introspective.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of gone through the ringer over the last round about a week. Yeah. I agree with you on that. I'm kind of predicting the same. I think everyone's just going to take a little bit of a breath. Here we go. So drink lots of water, everyone. Breathe. I think let's just start with that one and we see them on the next podcast.
Sweet.
I think be probably really good. We'll put in the link, maybe the podcast with Joe Rogan for people to look at, and Also, really, really important, especially for now, is your blog.
On human
Keep
resonance.
that in the link as well.
Cool. Sweet.
And you may see, look, talking about our network as well.
You're the medicine.
You
Joy
are the
to May.
medicine. You are the medicine. Joy to May. Well, there's another one in the tribe, right?
Yeah.
Legend.
Powerful being.
Powerful being. Go check her out. Check her music. And we love to plug our friends.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Nice
Cool.
one, bro.
Until next time.
Yeah. Ka kite.